When we use puppetry, we all participate in a kind of collective game, the audience, the puppeteers, and there's only one rule, and the rule is that we all agree for that short moment in time the puppet's alive. My name's Eleanor Conlon. I'm one half of Rust and Stardust Productions, and we are a puppet theatre company. We're really passionate about storytelling, myths, fairy tales, creating magic, really. We have been doing a couple of fantastic education-based projects with primary schools. Both of us find those really fulfilling, working with children to create their own puppetry work. They're sometimes even in our shows with us, so it's really exciting doing that kind of thing.
The idea was to educate and to inspire. So it's all about storytelling and getting kids excited about stories and making their own stories. My name is Sommers and I am one half of Rust and Stardust. The idea came about because I wanted to move away from animation, which is my background, to puppet animation. I wanted to go into schools and teach children Shakespeare. So my idea was to get them interested in Shakespeare through puppetry, and I knew one person who was good to do that with, and that was Eleanor.
We both come from quite different backgrounds. Mine's in Shakespeare and early modern theatre, and Katie's an animator. But we met in another theatre company, and we're chatting about the sort of direction we wanted to go in and the kind of work we wanted to do. And both of us were very interested in using puppetry in live theatre, and that's how Rust and Stardust was born. We wanted to experiment with mixed media productions. Our very first show, The Wild Man of Orford, based on a medieval wonder tale from Suffolk, was a mixture of live theatre, live music, puppetry and animation. So it had a bit of everything.
It's a human thing to like puppets. They're mini people, and people have always been fascinated with people and making things that are not people act like people. The first thing a child will do is they'll come up and they'll touch it. You can't stop them. And they like that. It's something that they can hold. It's something solid and tangible.
You know, when you see an actor in a stage fight, there's always some part of your mind which goes, I'm watching a stage fight. If you hit a puppet on stage, that's real. And in that space, you're very free, because what happens to the puppet, that's really happening. So I think there's something incredibly powerful about that. And also, there's things for which using a puppet makes a lot of sense. For example, The Wild Man of Orford. The character is a mystical merman from the sea, and I don't know many of those. You have to bring in a bit of an added element of wonder. A lot of them have different requirements. So the merman's very large. The puppets we're using in The Poetical Scientist are a mid-scale, and we have some which are smaller, very delicate tabletop size. Those can be made with a lot more detail using clay, for example. The larger you go, the less delicate materials you can use. So I think each of them have unique requirements, and some, like our green children, are incredibly large and made of cat food boxes. We are on a journey into greener theatre, and we like to use a lot of sustainable materials to make our puppets and our costumes and everything in the show.
We use a lot of recycled materials or upcycled things, so getting kids into saving the planet a bit, encouraging them to turn mayonnaise tubs into parrots, which is exactly what we've done for Ada Lovelace. Polly is in fact a mayonnaise pot.
Sometimes that means creating puppets from rubbish, newspaper, bits of old sofa. Katie actually destroyed a tumble dryer once to make a wolf's spine. We're magpies, we happen along things and turn them into beautiful other things.
Generally, we start out by discussing the characters and what they should be like, maybe what sort of thing they might be wearing to tell us what character they have. And then Eleanor will send me a costume design. It will just be a design of the lovely costume, and I work from that. So I think, right, we wear that, and then what sort of face, hands, feet, etc. would they have to go with that? sounds really ridiculous. Sometimes you start making something out of clay, the clay will start to become the thing without you consciously really knowing what you're doing. A good example is I've made a demon called Ludovico, and the face wasn't supposed to be his face, but it just started to come out of the clay and it started to look quite nasty, and I thought, actually, this isn't the nice puppet, this is going to have to be the scary one, because it started to morph itself into the demon. The face is really important. Eleanor finds it easier to have a face when she's then making their costumes. For me, the eyes are the most important thing. They need to sort of sparkle and gleam. If they're flat and matte and not shiny, they don't look alive. I think, you know, the eyes are the window to the soul. So it helps if they can really sparkle so that someone at the back of the theatre can see life behind there. Because ideally, if you're doing your job correctly, they're looking at the puppet's face and not yours, and they believe it's alive.
I'm very fond of our Dr. D puppet, he appeared in Seeing Stars, and he also appeared in our show which we toured with a recorder quartet, Dr. D's Daughter and the Philosopher's Stone, and he is based on the Elizabethan magician Dr. John Dee. I find him very charming. He's one of my favourites just to hold and to use.
You shouldn't really have a favourite, but I do have a few. The first little human puppet I made was of Tycho Brahe, and I love him. His character is probably one of my favourite characters to play. So he's definitely up there. Love Cecil, our dragon. We've got a beautiful sea dragon who's all shimmery. He's a hit at parties. People love him. He's very popular. And I do love Mrs. Puff from our Ada Lovelace show. She is very special, but I am a cat lady, so. We're based in Sussex, so we do a lot of things in Brighton, but we have travelled all over the place, all the way up north, all the way out west.
We really like doing rural touring and going to places that don't necessarily have as much access to arts in the theatre.
Well, in our first ever meeting, I've still got it, in our book of what we were hoping to achieve, I've written take over the world. So that could happen. Hopefully that will happen. We'd love to do more educational projects and just inspire more people to do what we do. That's the plan.